Chiquinha, Chiquinha,
Go check out the room.
Chiquinha.
Okay, I'm the content creator for this channel. If you like what I'm doing, just subscribe and then also hit the that little bell. That means you're gonna get notified of other videos that I do.
Okay, so this video is of my last day in Mexico City. So I'm going to be going into this El Pescadito restaurant. It's amazing, actually. The food in Mexico City is unbelievable. So this is another example as well. I'm going to just pause sometimes when I think there's going to be audio. I put it on silence right now, and then but later I'll play it.
Okay.
Hay barra libre de ensaladas, aderezos, come y paga el último, caballero.
Okay.
¿Te ofrezco algo de tomar?
Tomar,
Cerveza, refresco, jugo,
sí.
agua de sabor,
Okay,
Pepsi Light, manzanitas, Squirt, 7-Up, Mirinda.
¿Tienes a Squirt No Light?
Squirt Light, ese es
No Light. Oh, okay.
¿El Squirt?
Yeah, I'll order, yeah, sí.
Ok, caballero.
Yeah.
Adelante.
Gracias.
Okay. So there's the menu right there. There's some pretty good stuff. Actually, this is the first time I've had fish taco. I've heard a lot about it, but I didn't really know what it was. I thought it was some kind of California thing. And actually, it's pretty amazing. See how there's like tacos of different kinds of. So I'm going to be talking about Mexico City again. This is my last Mexico City video, by the way. This is the last day in Mexico City that I was filming. I have another little interaction here in a minute.
I order here. Here.
¿Qué sería? ¿Taco de pescado?
Yeah.
¿No?
And yeah, pescado. Just
Very patient and tolerant.
Este.
Chile relleno.
Yeah.
Ya. No, ya. A ver. No, es que dijo que
Chili with pepper with marlin, and chili with pepper with cheese, and shrimp. Dice a quesotote.
Okay. Maybe no. Maybe no
Wanna
pepper.
what?
Pepper no. Maybe just one pescado. Taco de
¿Uno
pescado.
nada más?
Yeah. Sí, no más.
Yeah, just enough Spanish to kind of get the basics, but
Hola, buenas tardes.
okay. So
Perdona a la primera persona.
Te cargo un taco de camarón, no taco de pescado,
Taco de pescado.
You pay it
una
after.
quesadilla de camarón.
After, okay. Gracias.
yeah, it's actually a pretty good restaurant. Just yeah, I never had that. It's actually really tasty. Do a little bit of sauce. Kind of a roll of all sauces right there too for this. So yeah, I'm gonna sit down and eat this taco. I'm gonna tell you all about Mexico City. So get my stuff together there. So it's in Zona Rosa, by the way. Zona Rosa is a very popular tourist district. There's some clubs and bars in the area. There's some. It's kind of like a good neighborhood, actually. It's like really comfortable. Walk around there any time of day or night, and I felt fine. It's like some kind of hipsters going by. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I just finished the meal. So actually, I don't know if you saw that, but the camera went off and now back on again. So I'm basically gonna pay my bill and then I'm gonna get out of there and we're gonna walk around and I'll show you the city. Show you more of the city. Yeah, you can always go back to my other videos and I have now I probably have like at least a dozen different Mexico City footage videos.
Compró aquí. ¿Tiene cambiar para este? Gracias.
You get to hear me use a little bit of Spanish now and then too. So. Americanized Spanish. Gonna walk out of this in a minute.
Gracias.
Okay, we're on the road.
Muchas gracias.
So we're gonna walk on out, and I'm gonna basically today in this video I'm gonna be walking around this neighborhood a little bit and kind of showing you more of it. This is Zona Rosa, and then I'm gonna walk over to I think it's it'll come to me a little bit later when we're walking, but an adjacent neighborhood. And actually, this particular one, this is like about 1 block. I think it's 1 block, maybe possibly 2, but there's a very long boulevard, and that one has a lot more, thorough traffic. But yeah, I kind of liked walking around because there's some nice sidewalks and a lot of business everywhere. And it's about as crowded as you want it to be. So basically, the city's so big that not everybody. Like in another city, everybody kind of goes to the same spot. But Mexico City is just filled with so many neighborhoods that all have a lot of good restaurants and shops and everything you could possibly want. So yeah, as I'm walking down, like this particular street is a little bit more residential, but I'm going to move right into the bigger active street in a minute. Yeah, I guess some general things that people were asking me about in Mexico City, and I've addressed some of them in my other videos, but not everybody sees every single video, so I'll kind of not copy, but you might have heard some of the same stuff that I said in the other videos. This is all just based on my own experiences and my own perception of it, but yeah, for one, Mexico City felt really safe. I didn't feel any problems at all. Just even when you walk around, like you can see all these people here, they just look like they're like this non-threatening, at the minimum, and they just kind of like they have something, You put one of these people in another city that's a little more dangerous, and they might look like they have something to steal, But I didn't feel that way at all in Brazil. I felt like, everybody was going to their office jobs or coming from their office jobs. Like people had their income coming in, and so I don't know. I read that I definitely heard that there's bad neighborhoods in Mexico City, but I was there for 5 days and I didn't come across any. And I walked all over the place. I filmed it as well. Yeah, and even with my camera, I'm walking around with the camera on me, so. Some other cities, when you're walking around the camera, you feel like you're putting a target on your back, like, okay, Yeah, in this city right there is a bike lane, so you can see some bikes going by. So yeah, I was kind of surprised to see some nice bike lanes, well structured. Yeah, I remember in the States, I hope it's changed in the United States. I haven't lived in the United States for quite a while, but I'm from the United States. But I remember, like maybe 10, 15 years ago, they tried bike lanes in the United States, but they'd put it right next to, they'd have like cars of all parked vehicles, and they'd put a little bike lane, where people swing open the doors, so like a lot of bikes had a lot of problems because, somebody swing a door open and they'd go right into it. And then they also were kind of between these cars, all the traffic, and so, but look at Mexico City, like you can't park right there. So I think you understand what I'm saying. The United States is like the way it was designed wasn't really that well thought out. And then like so basically like in the United States you'd have to, where the white sidewalk is right now. So the cars would have to go across the bike lane to park in the right side. You know what I mean? But like in Mexico City they didn't even have that. Like they didn't. It's just structured in a much better way. So basically the sidewalk is right next to the bike lane. And the bike lane has those yellow curbs, so a car can't go in that lane at all. United States, they could, at least. I don't know, maybe the United States has changed, I don't know. But I remember years ago, I also went to China, like in 2002, like about, now it's like 15 years ago. And I remember seeing bike lanes like that in China, same as that I'm seeing right now in Mexico City. And I was like, man, like these guys are so much further ahead in designing pedestrian-friendly, bike-friendly cities. I don't know how long the Mexico City one has been there, but I remember I also visited Bogota, Colombia on the same trip, and I have some videos of that too. So you can look for that on my channel if you want to see what Bogota looks like. And they also have bike lanes there as well. I like these gardens. There's gardens to the kind of everywhere in Mexico City. You know, they put a conscious effort to get some greenery and some, you know, soils and plants and things like that. I apologize for my voice today. I want to record this and make it available, so I don't want to wait for my voice to get better, so just deal with it. My apologies though. This particular street is a very major pedestrian street. I think it's closed off to cars. And right now we're kind of walking more like in the park part of it. Park, like trees and greenery. But then in a minute we're going to get right up into the kind of a nightlife restaurant bar area. So we're going to walk right into the middle of it. Then if you keep walking straight, you go right to a metro station. And I think in this video I'm going to be going straight all the way down. And you'll see a lot more people and more commercial activities, you know, businesses in particular. And each of these businesses had people who stayed outside and dreamt up business, basically. And I think if you're seeing these numbers like that, 50, if I remember right, it was 18 pesos to $1. So 50 is like $2.50 for whatever that is, pint of beer, whatever. Probably see some of the prices along, but yeah, just kind of keep that in mind if you see the numbers. But yeah, 18 pesos was $1 on this particular day when I was there. There you go. I don't know if you saw that sign, but it's something for... There's another, I don't know what you call them. I used to live in Korea too. They call them pickies. You'd pick people out of the audience and crowd, or pick them out of the crowd walking by. So a lot of times they would deliberately pick the ones they thought should go to that particular place. I don't know the name for it in Spanish, but yeah, in Korea they always call them pickies. Always kind of like that name. A little bit about my background. I was living in Korea in 1996, and I was more or less there most of the time until 2008. So, and I was still living in Asia even now. But I like to travel around and get other places too. So I think it's kind of normal for people who are traveler expat types to kind of always compare where they're at with other places, because you know, if you're that willing to pick up and go, you want to make sure you are in the place that's best for you. Every place has a different feel. And after having visited Mexico City, like I definitely felt like Mexico City could be one of those cities that like if somebody said, okay, you have to live, you know, you pick a place in what to say, Latin America, like a Spanish-speaking country in the Americas, or cities. And you had to choose one, and you had to live there, and that's where you're going to stay, and you're going to be there for the next 20 years. And let's just include Brazil. I used to live in Brazil, and I absolutely loved it. So Brazil was probably one of my places I most wanted to get back to. And after visiting Mexico City, I still have a fondness for Brazil, but I think Mexico City might be the city now that if I was you know, forced to choose a place in the Americas that was Spanish and Portuguese, it'd be Mexico City. One of the main reasons is I was just really impressed by, just felt so comfortable there. I just felt like there was kind of endless walking abilities. I took some tour buses around, these hop-on, hop-off buses. And you know, as I was on those there was like not a single place that I would want to get off and explore. You know, like it all looked really good. And also the food, the cuisine, Mexican cuisine is absolutely amazing. And then not only that, but it's very international there. So there's a couple streets that I think I filmed on them in some of the other videos, but you know, I'd walk by like Japanese restaurants and you know stuff like that, Korean, and so like they kind of have a very international vibe with restaurants too. So I think also the Japanese in particular, you know, like sushi and all kinds of stuff that was Japanese was very much in like a trendy thing for people to eat in this area of Mexico City. Yeah, I was really impressed by Mexico City, so I hope I can get back there again. So yeah, the prices of things were very reasonable. Cuisine was amazing. People were great. One of the things I really enjoyed was I have just enough Spanish to be able to communicate in a very functional way. So. All right, I remember this musician. Probably should have stayed, kept the camera on her. At the time, I was kind of watching, and like I said, I wish I would have turned the camera on her. I watched a little bit for you guys. Okay, so in a minute, I'm gonna be walking into the like this big metro station exit entrance area. So you're going to see a lot of people kind of walking around. Then I walk into a Detroit pizza chain restaurant. And I'm from Michigan. Detroit's a big city in Michigan. So when I saw that, I had to go get this one thing. You'll see me getting one of those and walk around with it a bit. Some more musicians to the right. Yeah, also just want to say, like, if you like this video, just definitely like it, no matter what. Put a like on it, and if you comment as well, it's great. Basically, likes and comments put it more into the algorithm. Otherwise, you know, these videos can fade away into low viewers. But if people start commenting on things, then it puts it up there a little bit more. It's just like, I think Facebook and YouTube, they kind of do the same thing. So I probably should have controversial topics, right? And get a bunch of people commenting, and then it gets in the algorithm. But instead, I don't really approach it like that. So yeah, so you might have to think of some kind of comment to say, but I'd really appreciate it though. Yeah, this whole area, you can see the train right to the left above us. Yeah, it's a pretty wide open space, so people kind of roam all the way across, but there's also a lot of things to do. Yeah, no cars go through there, so it's basically kind of an open place for people to, you know, performers if they. But actually, when I was there at that particular time of the day, it was pretty hot, so this was probably like around 12 noon. Yeah, actually, this is kind of the approach I like with videos anyways, is I like it so that you can see what you would see if you were walking around yourself. So, you know, like when you look at, you know, like TV shows about Mexico City, they're probably not going to walk around like this, right? Like, usually they'll take you to some expensive restaurants, show you some of the most expensive places in the city, give you the impression that the whole, you know, it's like, I don't know, you basically won't get a feel for this. So that's one of the great things about YouTube. I'm not the only one doing this. So But I got inspired by other YouTubers who were doing exactly what this is right here, like just walking around the camera, showing people what you see when you walk around these different cities like this. Oh yeah, they're doing the hip hop stuff right here.
Yo estoy gordo porque siempre yo estoy lo gordo. Mientras más gordo, más me tengo que esforzar.
To me, this was kind of interesting on the fact that, you know, like, hip hop dancers have been around forever in the United States, and then I saw it a lot in Asia as well, so it's pretty popular in both Japan and Korea, where I'd see people on the street trying to do hip hop stuff. So I found it really interesting, you know, in 2019, you know, the amount of young people that were involved and also the crowd around there was so large. I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting because, you know, in my mind, it's kind of like something that's been going on for 20, 25 years. So it's like, wow, is it so popular everywhere, or, you know, just, I don't know, just interesting.
Crazy combo.
This is my favorite pizza place. Sorry, not my favorite, but it's very comforting one because it's from my home state of Michigan in the United States. Yeah, actually, kind of like that dancing on the street and stuff. Like, I think I remember that. I don't want to say my age, but you know, way back when there was like break dancers back in the late 70s and early 80s, especially in the early 80s, which is the time that I would have remembered. You know, so here we are, 30 years later, and it's still kind of, you know, like the hip hop breakdancing. So I guess I'm trying to think of the equivalent. So it'd be like, you know, let's say it was 1980, and then 30 years before 1950, so 1950, you know, 1949, 1951, 52. Like what would have been there? You know, like jazz era. Like I would have been before like Elvis Presley, right? So it'd be like before rock and roll. So it'd be like, you know, whatever was hip and swing music or something. You know, so it's like, so it's kind of funny that something like, you know, this crowd of people are. But it's not just Mexico City, it's just, you know, kind of like throughout the world, so I guess I shouldn't really be talking about it because dancing's always popular, but it just seems like the same dance, same thing for 30 years. But I'm sure that for young people it's very nuanced and that it would appear the same to them. They would think it's all new, I would guess. Those are the words of a older guy like myself who's dating himself in this video now. Yeah, this is pretty cool right here. It's kind of the way it blocks the sun like that, all manufactured. A little bit of sun, but not entirely. It's kind of like big city stuff, right? That's what I liked about Mexico City. It had big city stuff that I like. You know, metro, surrounded by a bunch of restaurants, big open plaza. Cut off the traffic, but lots of people living kind of a community feel. Some of the restaurants. Let's see what else you might want to be. As far as people, most people were Mexican people, but I would see little bits of like Korean, Japanese, Chinese, usually opening businesses. We have another video where I was reading some Korean on a sign and talking about that a little bit. Saw a lot of American expat types. Could hear English once in a while. Usually dressed like they were from the upper echelons of the United States that probably got an Ivy League degree or some kind of went to some good university on the East Coast or West Coast. Definitely not from the middle America. And they took those degrees and went to Mexico City, and looks like they're making some good money because I would see them in these nice, trendy, popular neighborhoods somebody, I think in one of my videos, somebody said, you know, I think they said I don't see any African people, something like that, or African Americans. I can't remember what they said, or black. Can't remember what they said. They're around. I saw them. So some of them were kind of mixed in with the white American, some black American. You know, like they're kind of same class level. So I think I remember specifically seeing that. I remember talking to a guy from Panama City. He looked like he was well dressed, African, Panamanian. So they're definitely around. I didn't see. I just saw well-to-do black that were kind of same world and sphere as the well-to-do white, basically. But predominantly, I saw mostly people from Mexico. But I get the impression Mexico City draws a lot of people from around Latin America, so there's probably other people who I wouldn't recognize if their accent had a different origin or not. Or Spanish accent. Or English accent, for that matter. So I'm gonna walk over and get get a seat over here in this dark, shady space. This is also the entrance of where when I came in through the same area. It's a little different. This see between those three people there. The guy in the red shirt was talking quite a bit to the girl. I remember if I could understand Spanish better, I could have heard every word of their conversation. Okay. In case you're wondering, I actually I had stopped the video and now I'm back out on that main street again. And this is the street that I was in the kind of like that metro exit entrance area, and now I'm out on that same street I was in before, which is where all the businesses are at. So this one has this is the same area where I was kind of mentioned the word picky, which isn't a Spanish word, but picky, like to pick people out from the from walking by in the audience. Oh, and up here in a minute. Here we go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
So I basically gave her. I got crazy bread, if you know what that is. It's just like a pizza pie, but it's just all the dough, and you make bread out of it, and you dip it in a tomato pizza sauce. So that lady is kind of funny because actually sometimes what I do, just in general, is if I don't eat all my food, I just I look for something to give it to. So I was actually looking for somebody. I don't think I mentioned it in the video at all when I was walking with it, but I was thinking about it in my mind. Maybe I did. I turned the volume off when I record, and then I turn it back on later. So I might have said it, verbalized it, but I'm not sure. But I was actually looking for something to give those the leftovers to, and that lady, she came over out of the side of the building there and was like, I think she basically said, "Give me money because I'm hungry." I think, or she implied that she was looking for like money handout, but she said I was hungry, so I was like, "Here you go." And I gave her food. She took it and she was pretty happy about that. United States, if you give, a lot of them are the drug addiction is really high in the United States. So I used to live in San Francisco, so if you give them food, a lot of times they would be like, "No, I want money. I don't want this half-eaten food. I just want money." Basically, what they want is they want drugs. Looking to get that. Yeah, I didn't really see that in Mexico City either. I didn't really see like the drug epidemic that is going on throughout the United States. I didn't really feel it at all in Mexico City. I know what happens with the cities of Mexico, but I didn't experience it there, so I can't really comment on what happens in other places in Mexico. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Actually, if you're a viewer and watching this, maybe just comment. Like, just tell me like, is this your first of my videos that you've seen? And if you've seen some other videos, you know, just kind of tell me like, what are you interested in? It's good because it'll create some comments in my comment section, which I need. And then also number two, it's kind of informative to me because I know I have some viewers, but you know, I don't know how they approach watching the videos. You know, do they only come to my channel because they're interested only in Mexico City, or are they more interested in travel? You know, so they kind of maybe they came in looking at my videos in Hong Kong or China or Thailand or something like that. Okay, to the left is a Hooters grand opening sign. That's not quite open yet, but it's going to be in this shopping mall. And what I'm going to do is walk through this building. But actually the shopping mall is quite empty. It felt like the streets had more activity. Which was a little funny because I think it was air conditioned, but it wasn't. It was the hottest part of the day, but even the hottest part of the day in Mexico City isn't that hot, so it's not like you're looking to get indoors for heat relief, you know. So once I walk out of here, which will be in about 2 minutes maybe, I'll go through some people all waiting for a restaurant. So if you're into people watching, there was like a big group of people that were, I think they were kind of like young, like 18, 19, 20, like maybe college students or something. So if you want to see what Mexico City college students, I can't remember now, I can't remember if they were, but maybe they're like 16, 17, so I don't know which age, but anyways, they're young and hanging out, go to a restaurant in a minute, just have fun, there they are on the right. Not that big of a deal, but it's kind of a group of people, so if you're person like I am, and always kind of people watching to see what people look like and what they like. Here we all are. I'm going to walk by them just as quickly as I'm going to walk in a minute. And we're going to mosey on. Actually, I'm going to walk over to, I think it's called La Condesa. Might have another name, but or also Norte Roma de Norte, which is, these are adjacent neighborhoods. So I'm going to walk into that area, and I had some videos in that area too earlier, from a different day, of course. But I'm going to walk all the way over there. It takes a little, but I walk down this street right here. I'm going to stay on this street at least for the next 3 minutes on the video on the YouTube channel. But I kind of like the street. It has a lot of beautiful trees, sidewalk, just enough people that it's not crowded, but enough that there's always somebody around. And it's kind of funny I still have those old phones like that too, and like they're being used. Markets to the right. A lot of stuff. There's like little food places here and there too. So yeah, hamburgers are also kind of trendy as well. Saw a lot of hamburger stands, and some of them look like they were kind of like trendy, like kind of like I guess in the United States you might have some like trendy Mexican restaurants, that have something a little bit interesting about them. And actually, I kind of like the. I didn't have any hamburgers there at all, but I do remember that in the United States there were some like diners, where they'll cook it on a grill, like right there, and put like a little bit of butter on them and things like that. Like it's like really fresh and really amazing, and it's something that no fast food can reproduce. So I kind of had the feeling that these kind of hip ones in Mexico were. Had the grill and they're just doing it exactly as it's supposed to be in a diner, like when it's like real meat that's like very, very fresh with butter on the bread and bread toasted just right, stuff like that. Alright, so in a minute, this is gonna, I think I'd stop, and so this footage will stop, and I'll bounce into another footage altogether that's gonna happen in about 40 seconds from now, so just let me know. The white building, I think I'm going to be looking at that a little bit more closer up. I'm going to turn the camera back on. I'm going to turn it off in about 10 seconds. I don't turn it off. Again, actually, when I look at it, sometimes if there's when you build these videos, they put them in little pieces. So this is actually the same video. So I guess I'm walking up next to this big apartment building or hotel or whatever it is. That's pretty cool balconies though. And I was going to switch to a whole other neighborhood. And now. Last video in Mexico City. It's my last day. Oh yeah, I remember these two girls were really stylish. I tried to turn the camera around, I think. Maybe I don't. Too far away already. Too bad moving. Yeah, and this between these two neighborhoods, it's a little bit some kind of big streets to try to cross. So maybe going over. I'm a large street in a minute. Yeah, so this was my last day in Mexico City, and then I flew back to, I flew to Los Angeles for a day, so I put up a couple of those videos already. And I went back to Hong Kong and Macau, where I'm living. If you want to see what Asian cities look like, I have them all over the place. A lot of them about Macau, where I'm living. All the old rich Portuguese architecture, or some of the Chinese architecture, casinos. This is that massive street that I have to cross, and once I get over on the other side, it gets into another cool neighborhood again. Some cities look like just like only like that throughout the entire downtowns. But yeah, Mexico City has it just a little bit, just about as functional as you need it, and it goes right into these really cool neighborhoods everywhere. So it's me running across. Okay, yeah. I'm going to cut it in a second, and then I'll turn the camera back on. I just have to go down this big long boulevard but it's going to stop in like 10 seconds or so. And I'm going to switch to something different. Whoop. Okay. Now I'm out of that big busy street, and I'm back in a cool neighborhood again. Yeah, whenever you see my camera go down a little bit, it's because I'm checking to make sure that it's still on. So one thing you don't want to do is be walking around talking to yourself, filming everything with the camera, being out there, but not have the film running. And sometimes it just turns off on you. The battery's out, or the SD card is full, and you won't know until much later, so if you ever see my camera go down a little bit, I'm just like checking to make sure everything is good and being recorded. What's that? Green and then the yellow red. Let me switch over to that. So this is in the Zona Rosa. No, it's in the adjacent one, kind of like a little bit south of it, like Roma de Norte, I think. I'm gonna walk into this big circle that you might have seen in my couple of my other videos that I filmed in a couple different days. It's old phone booths. Yeah, like this neighborhood. I think pretty soon I'm gonna go into a little bit of a market, and it's basically kind of touristy, it's basically a bunch of people selling stuff in a small market. So you're gonna see it pretty soon. I mean, it's kind of interesting, I think. Nice. There's something else happening this day. I was just thinking, every day, like filming and traveling, there's always something else going on that's kind of layers things a little bit. Trying to remember what that was, but yeah, Mexico City was great though. So if you get a chance to go to Mexico City, definitely do it. A lot of these outdoor cafes and plazas, the weather is amazing. Yeah, and as I get into this neighborhood, there's even more of the kind of outdoor ones, as you can see. Great restaurants everywhere. Actually, in some ways, that reminded me of Europe, because Europe has a lot of outdoor space. There's not much time of the year that you can actually enjoy it, but I mean, weather-wise. But Europe kind of likes having chairs outside everywhere, especially in their relatively short summers. But yeah, Mexico City, you just have that all the time, I would think. Yeah, this is yeah, I won't have any more Mexico City videos after this one, but at the end, you can definitely, I'll put some recommended ones at the end of this video, and then you can kind of follow them down, so they're chronological on their dates. Chronological meaning like the way that you can do it is you can choose your recommended videos at the end of one video. So I have other Mexico City ones that I'll recommend you to, and if you go to one of those, they'll keep showing you other ones as well. Or you can just search on my page and just look for the Mexico City stuff. This yellow building is another hamburger place that have nice grills, and it's pretty trendy. Yeah, and actually in this area there was a big tarot, it's called kind of a tarot card shop with, like hundreds of decks, and I had a bunch of books about spirituality and kind of new age and shamans and Castaneda kind of stuff, and Toltecs and Olmecs, and pretty cool little shop actually. But that was also in this area as well. I walked around on there a few times and even bought a book from there. But I don't think I put that on video though. This in the white is where all the kind of that little shopping market is, where they have more tourist shirts. And so I'm gonna walk all the way down. You can see what's in there yourself. And I'm just gonna be silent in here. Maybe you can overhear some of the people. Mexico is the shit. That's what that jacket said. In English. Of course. Yeah, I don't know what it's like in Mexico City, but you know, living in Asia for a long time, I see two things. But one of them is, you know, some people have these kind of markets for forever. It feels like. And on the other hand, there's other people that just there's kind of a mass quick turnover. It's probably the same, Mexico City.
Ah, no ha salido. Si me quedé sin perfume.
Aquí hay salsa roja si quieres.
Yeah, it kind of blocks the shade, and
Buenas tardes.
it's kind of a little bit cool, not cold at all. Like really comfortable. Weather's amazing. Can't overstress that enough.
¿Y cómo bajaron esto?
Kind of in my mind, it's kind of like kind of had images of like this being like Turkey or something like that, where the weather's kind of, you know, like kind of mild and not really the best reference. Okay, so I'm gonna angle over on this side and walk on back. Yeah, this is Mexico City, folks. Gives you a first-hand view of what it looks like to be walking around in the city. Cool place. And there's some lots of places to walk to. I didn't see any bad ones. I'm sure they're there, but I didn't see them. If anything, Mexico City made me curious to see other parts of Mexico. I've been to Tijuana, Cancun, Rosarita, stuff near Tijuana. But there's a lot of places I've never been. Mexico City, first time. Again, apologies for the voice, my throat is dry. So this camera is going to transition. Basically, I'm going to be turning it off and turning it back on. Oh, no, I'm not. Actually, it's going to keep going. Sorry, it cuts up the video, so it looks like it's going to be a transition, but it's not. It's the memory just isn't able to hold all of in one video, so it cuts it up. So it looks like it was going to transition, but it's not. It wasn't. So basically, I'm just going to walk right through this market, and that's going to conclude this video in about 3-4 minutes from now. Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, make some comments. And I think that's all you're gonna see from me from Mexico City. Yeah, definitely look at my other videos. There's at least a dozen of them, I think. If you watch other videos of mine, usually just tell me what they usually are. I think I watch some YouTubers, and I noticed that sometimes there's certain YouTubers when they're in certain places, I just can't wait to see the next one. And then they change countries. It's a country I'm not that interested in, or one that I've already been, and I kind of know what they're gonna say or see what they're gonna film, and then I stop viewing altogether. So I'm kind of curious if it's a little bit like that for you guys. Maybe you like the Mexico City, but you're just only interested in, you know, Spanish-speaking countries, maybe, which is completely understandable. Alright, so I'm going to be turning this off in a minute. So hope you enjoyed the Mexico City. Yeah, this is the last video that I have of it. So if you're going to wait for more, well, I won't have any more until I get to Mexico City again someday. Hope to. I don't know when that would be, but I'm sure I will sometime when I get the chance. Anyways. All right. Enjoy.
Chiquinha, chiquinha, toma cuidado da movimento.